It's been close to 10 years since I've been a DJ for my college radio show, but maybe it's time to give that a try again. This video is getting out later than normal again, but this time it's for a really good reason. I've been working with a number of content creators to create a new MetaZoo website to bring you news faster than I currently do today. Myself, Termentic, Caster MJ, Deadly, and Harley with EpicTube HD are working on a new website called the MetaZoo Archives, which will bring you more in-the-moment news, gameplay, lore, event information, market analysis, and more. The site is still in its infancy, so expect changes in the coming weeks. The link is in the description below, so please check that out and let me know what you think. The first thing that we got to look at this week is the Seance box art for the booster box. Now, this isn't much of a new tease, however, this is an uncut sheet for the booster box, so we know that it's actually coming off the printer. On the box art, we can see the black dog of the Whispering Hill, we can see the ghosts of the Sloss Furnaces, as well as the moth creature that we don't know the name of yet, and the sentry box devil. Now, we do also see a return of orbs behind each of these beasties, except for Walking Sam on the top of the box art, who has the medium's third eye. The bloody tentacle art that Afton did for the Seance boxes does wrap around the entire bottom of the booster box. We also got to look at, well, honestly, I'm not quite sure what this figure is. It's a black snake-like figure that has the head of what looks like a Hopkinsville goblin. Alongside this image, we were given three colors: green, black, and purple. And what I can tell from the image is, depending on how the light hits the figure, you can see all of those colors on the figure. What exactly is this figure? I'm not quite sure, but I do imagine that we're going to find out soon, and this could be one of the things that they're going to be doing for New York Comic Con. 2 more UFO meteorite pins were pulled this week, both by Happy Kitty 05. Happy Kitty 05 and his brother had gotten 6 boxes of the UFO Pin Club, and out of those 6 boxes, they each pulled a meteorite pin, number 8 and number 77. Congratulations, Happy Kitty, to you and your brother, and I hope you enjoy those pins. This is a good reminder that if you do want to keep track of the serialized card pulls, go to MetaZooSR.com, which is run by Alan J, and you can keep track of it there. Alan keeps track of the Wilderness Green Man pulls, the UFO serialized rare pulls, as well as the UFO Pin Club pulls. Spoiler season for Seance is in full swing, with the release of Seance being only 3 weeks away now. The first spoilers this week were from Ekicombre and Aussie Brickster, and we have here the Ghost Forest, which is a 2 forest cost spell. This page can be contracted anytime, so you can actually contract this on your opponent's turn, and it's probably beneficial for you to do that, since the effect is that anytime your non-token beasties are destroyed, you can generate a Haunted Tree token, which is 30 LP and 30 damage. The page also enters the battlefield as a special Forest Terra, so it will come in as a Forest Terra in a Terra slot. The second tease from Aussie Brickster is the Cement Worm. This is actually really interesting because this is a 2-drop Earth beastie. It's something that Earth has definitely needed for a while now. It doesn't have a lot of low drops. It would be nice to see maybe a 1-drop introduced with Seance. It has Stone Skin and Burrow, so it actually will be somewhat hard to remove from the battlefield. The arena effect here is that any beastie with Fleet enters the arena fatigued. So it actually nullifies Fleet, and it has a power that a target page will lose Stone Skin, so you can actually use this to your advantage to start taking out your opponent's Stone Skin beasties. The attack here is quite weak, however, if it does attack a caster, you can choose a target or a page, and that page does not awaken at the beginning of the next turn. So if you can get 4 of these out in the battlefield, each attacking the opposing caster, you are essentially making it so your opposing caster cannot use 4 of their aura. The next teases were from PokeZoo, and the first tease was the Phantom Steamboat of the Tombagee. This is a Spirit Water dual aura beastie vehicle with spirit traits, and the arena effect here is quite interesting. Beastie casters cannot be targeted with attacks. And this goes for both you and your opponent. So if this is on the field and your opponent has beastie casters, you cannot attack them. And this is pretty interesting because the theme decks this time around, I'm fairly certain, are all headed by beastie casters. You have Love, M, Rainbow Wizard, Morgana, and Saint Germain. And this has a power that if you say all aboard, you can move target beastie anywhere in the arena or search your spellbook for a tarot page and add it to your chapter. And there's some pretty interesting combos that you can do with that. Caster MJ of Caster's Corner recently wrote an article for the MetaZoo archives that you should check out. I'll put a link for that in the description below as well. The second tease for PokeZoo was Black Aggie, and this is a very powerful card. It is a 5-drop, Dark Earth Beastie. It has 140 life points, which is insane when you consider that it's a defender, so on your opponent's turn, it'll have 280 life points. And the arena effect for Black Aggie is quite interesting. Any damage done to Black Aggie from a beastie has a mirror effect to the attacking beastie. So let's say a beastie attacks Black Aggie for 100 damage. Black Aggie takes that 100 damage, but also does 50 damage back to the attacking beastie. Black Aggie can also not be affected by dark spells, so it's going to be much harder to remove Black Aggie, because you're not able to Hateful Demise or Death Beam Black Aggie. Black Aggie's power is actually incredibly interesting as well. Gaze makes it so that each caster on each turn loses XLP, where X starts at 10. Each turn, that doubles. So the first turn, that's 10 damage to both casters. Next turn is 20 damage to both casters. Then 40, 80, and then by turn 5, which isn't that long in a game of MetaZoo, each caster is taking 160 damage. So if you have more life points than your opponent, or if you have a way to regain life points, this is a very strong card to use to whittle down your opponent. Because at that point, they have to start attacking Black Aggie, which will then mirror damage back at the attacking beastie. On top of that, Black Aggie's attack is very powerful. Grief does 60 damage and inflicts Scared. If there's a full moon, that actually increases to 90 damage. And when you pair that with Stone Skin and Fear, Black Aggie is lined up to be one of the most powerful cards in Seance. On Twitter, we got a look at a Collecticon stamped Seance card, the Bet Sphere. This has Stone Skin, and you can have 3 per spellbook. We don't get to see too much of the card itself. We do know that it has a power called Roll Around, which allows you to pick the beastie up, shake it, and place it anywhere in the arena, fatigued. At the start of the next turn, you may hum. If you do, when an opposing caster targets pages you control, something happens. So it's unclear if this has an attack or what exactly that the power does, but it is interesting that we're seeing a lot more cards that are going to be moving around the arena. And in the Discord, we got to look at 2 new cards, the Hierophant, which is another one of the core set TCG cards that is going to reference the tarot cards. If you reveal a Hierophant tarot card to an opposing caster, you can contract the spell at any time. It's a 1 neutral, 1 spirit cost spell, and it allows you to either place up to 2 beasties from each caster's respective limbo into the afterlife, or destroy a special tarot page. The second card that was teased on Discord is a light cosmic card called Mince Pie Martian. The power here is covered up, but it looks like it says if you take a bite of a minty chocolate snack, return target non-aura light page in the arena into its owner's chapter to have a target beastie recover 20 life points. So the power here seems like it has a bounce effect that also allows you to then recover life points. It also has a attack called Mind X-Ray, which does 35 damage, and if it damages a caster, the caster must reveal their chapter. So the attack effect here goes really well with Crawfordsville Monster. And the other thing to notice about these 2 cards is that they're stamped with the Seance set symbol, meaning that the spoiler pack cards are off the press. As part of that announcement, it was confirmed that you'll start seeing the spoiler packs at New York Comic Con. So good luck to the fans getting those, and good luck to content creators receiving those in the mail. Speaking of New York Comic Con, if you are going to that, be in line early. When MetaZoo was at Long Beach Collecticon, they were giving out sample tarot cards. Well, not all of them were given out. You actually had to win them or guess a card to get them. Since MetaZoo does have some left over, what they are going to do is the first people in line each day at New York Comic Con, there are 4 days, will receive a sample tarot card, the black bordered tarot cards. So if you are going to New York Comic Con, get in line early and good luck. You can now buy HiroQuest merchandise on Amazon. Steve Aoki's Amazon store has a number of HiroQuest shirts available with a few different designs. So if you are looking to pick up some HiroQuest merchandise, you can do that on Amazon. While we're on the subject of HiroQuest, we actually did get a look at this HiroQuest Oyo Wakinian. The Wakinian was not part of HiroQuest Genesis. So this is likely a tease that we're getting more HiroQuest on the way. In the MetaZoo Hour, it was actually confirmed that we're going to be getting something called HiroQuest Remix, and that's unclear if that's a remix of existing cards and the CD, or if this is technically going to be something new. When you pair that with the Wakinian tease, I imagine it's going to be a set that contains new cards. So keep a lookout for announcements around HiroQuest Remix for November. Now, I haven't gotten a chance to cover the MetaZoo Hour yet, and I actually haven't had a chance to go back and look at all of the questions yet. I was on vacation for the second half of last week, and I was actually on vacation during that MetaZoo Hour. One of the things that was amazing that did come out of it for the little bit of time that I could be there was that Metakai had asked if I could attend the Salem event. Andy had responded that yes, I could, and I just needed to reach out to him to get the details. So I wanted to give a big shout out to Metakai. Metakai is a partner with MetaZoo, and you can find his store at tranboysllc.com. There's a link in the description below for that. And I'm incredibly excited to be able to go to Salem to meet the MetaZoo staff and be a part of that event. Once this weekly update is out the door, I do plan to get onto the MetaZoo Hour video, so keep an eye out for that later this week. Now, I find it really interesting that Seance hasn't released yet, and we're getting SCP Spoilers. SCP isn't set to release until December, so we're still a few months out from that, but we got a tease of 2 new SCP arts this week. The first was this toaster here that is set on fire. From what we can tell, this is SCP-426. And the second spoiler that we got was this cat that is cut in half. And this is a clear reference to SCP-529. Now, I don't want to get too into the details on what the SCP-426 and SCP-529 actually are. If you do want to know more about these SCP spoilers and how they might fit into the MetaZoo lore, keep an eye on Tormentic's channel. He's working on this theory right now. If you haven't had your fill of Bigfoot juice, well, there's good news because we're getting more Gamer Supps. Gamer Supps UFO Blast and Seance Ectoplasm have officially been announced. It's unclear what the flavors will be at this time. I do imagine UFO Blast will be blue because of Flatwood Monster's beams that she shoots out of her hands. So my guess is that UFO Blast is going to be a blue raspberry flavor. And when I think of ectoplasm, I think green. However, I think this is probably going to be something more along the lines of a purple color to align with Seance. So I imagine we're probably going to be getting some kind of raspberry or strawberry flavor. Only time will tell, and I can't wait to find out what the actual flavors of these Gamer Supps are going to be. Now, it may not be the PSA partnership that you're looking for at this time, but the stands for PSA slabs have gone up. You can purchase these at standupdisplays.co, and they have a wide range of different ones you can choose from. Some of the stands are clear, the Nightfall stands are black, the Cryptid Nation stands are white. All of the sets so far that have been released except for UFO are represented here. The basic stands are $10. For some reason, the Nightfall stands are actually $15. You get 5 in a pack, and there is an option for a premium stand. For $25, you can get a red stand with the MetaZoo logo in yellow and black. This is the nicest looking stand of the bunch. It's much more official looking, and it actually raises your slab up a little higher. Seance LGS kits are going out soon, and we got to look at one of the promos that will be going out with the LGS kits. This one is called Sam's Backpack. Sam's Backpack is an artifact with Fleet. You can have 3 in your spellbook. It costs 2 light aura to contract. For the arena effect, if any page with Sam's in its name is touching the artifact and is targeted for an attack, this artifact becomes the target of the attack instead. It has a power called Handy Sam, which allows you to search your spellbook for an artifact or spell with Sam's in its name and place it into your chapter. So you could use that to find things like Sam's EMF Reader or Sam's Lucky Rabbit Foot. And with this effect, I imagine that some of the other LGS promos are also going to be Sam's items. And if those LGS kits are coming soon, I imagine that within the next week or two, we're actually going to start getting a look at some of the other items included in the kit such as the playmats. For last week's trivia question, it was actually the same question from the prior week. The question was, which beastie, even after its transformation, still hungers for the hearts of the young? The first week that this was asked, nobody got it. So last week, we doubled the prize pool. So for a $30 gift card to Immortal Workshop, the answer to the trivia question is Stikini Owl. And I feel like this tripped a lot of people up because Stikini Owl is not a core set card. It's the headliner of one of the Nightfall theme decks. So let's give the spin wheel a spin and figure out who wins the $30 gift card to Immortal Workshop. And the winner is Peter Sayo. Congratulations on winning the $30 gift card to Immortal Workshop. This doesn't expire, you can save it for the Seance release. For this week's question, for the UFO Walmart hangers, what beasties can you get in the UFO Walmart hanger boxes? And now, our top story. MetaZoo has announced a partnership with Amazon AMP. Amazon AMP is a live DJ radio service and allows anybody to create live radio shows. DJs have access to an almost limitless supply of licensed songs to use for their shows, and have the ability to add callers into the show to make it a much more engaging experience. Now, something interesting with AMP is it's live only. You can't go back and listen to a show after it's aired, so you have to be live to get the content. So you might be asking yourself, how does MetaZoo fit with the AMP ecosystem? With the recent release of HiroQuest Genesis, Steve Aoki's CD, and first musical partnership with the core MetaZoo product, AMP DJs will have access to the HiroQuest songs. When you consider that Steve Aoki's HiroQuest is not a once and done, there will be future expansions to this set. We're going to be getting much more MetaZoo content on AMP, and MetaZoo's musical ambitions don't stop there. Added Color has done songs for every single set that has come out so far. The Added Color songs are fan favorites and will be something that AMP DJs will want to use on their radio shows. And AMP opens up an entirely new aspect of content creation for MetaZoo. The live-only nature of AMP means that you need to be present to experience what the DJs are doing for MetaZoo. Unlike YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, or Instagram, you can't go back and watch the content, so it's exclusive and in the moment. The ability for MetaZoo creators to take calls from the community is another level of community engagement that just isn't easy with other platforms. And I think AMP really does fit in with what some other content creators are trying to do with the platforms that they're on currently. You're seeing talk shows to podcasts, seeing chill streams. These all fit really well into the AMP ecosystem and allow you to engage with your community easier. This is especially useful for people that don't want to be on video. So while you can't do pack openings or you can't show cards on a new show like this one, you do have to describe things a lot more. It does make it easier for people who want to start audio-only content. And MetaZoo could actually use AMP to their advantage here. They could do special AMP-focused MetaZoo hours. This would encourage people to be live at the time of the AMP stream, so they don't miss anything. They could also then have better dialogues around questions from the community. Community members could dial in, they could ask their question, and have a short back and forth between Mike and the community member to really flesh out the idea of what the community member wants to ask. And while I don't believe that all MetaZoo hours should shift to an AMP-style AMA, I do believe that MetaZoo would benefit from experimenting with AMP with something like a MetaZoo hour. AMP itself is very interesting to me. I'm excited to see what creators are going to do with the platform. And as with any new platform, the early adopters are going to benefit the most. Early adopters have a chance to cement their name on the platform before content saturation kicks in, making them the front runner in their area. Well, that's all I really had to cover this week. I hope that this has been informative. Again, I do apologize for getting it out late since I was on vacation last week. And if you didn't catch last week's weekly update, you can catch that right here.